guys, today I'm going to read a book that's called Magic Tree House, Book 5, Night of the Ninjas. Chapter 1, Back into the Woods. Let's look again, Jack, said Annie. Annie and Jack and Amy were walking home from the library. The path went right by the Frog Creek Woods. Jack sighed. We looked this morning, he said. We looked the day before and the day before that. Then you don't have to come, said Annie. I'll go look by myself. She took off into the woods. Annie, wait. Annie, wait, Jack called. It's almost dark. We have to get home. But Annie had disappeared among the trees. Jack stared at the woods. He was starting to lose hope. Maybe he would never see Morgan again. Weeks had passed, and there had not been one sign of Morgan Le Fay, nor had there been one sign of her magic tree house. Jack, Annie called from the woods, it's back! Oh, she's just returning as usual, Jack thought. Hurry, called Annie. She better not be kidding, Jack, said Jack. He took off into the woods to find Amy. Night was falling fast. Crickets chirped loudly. It was hard to see through the shadows. Amy, Jack called. Here, she called. Jack kept walking. Here where? He called. Here. Amy's voice came from above. Jack looked up. Oh, man, he breathed. Amy waved from the window of a tree house. It was a tallest oak in the woods. A long rope ladder hung down from it. The magic tree house was back. Come on up, Annie shouted. Jack ran to the rope ladder. He started climbing. He climbed and climbed. What do we do? As he climbed, he looked out over the woods. High above the treetops, it was still light. At last, Jack pulled himself into the treehouse. Amy sat in the shadows. Books were scattered everywhere. On the floor, the letter M glowed in the dim light. The M stood for Morgan Le Fay. But there was no sign of Morgan herself. I wonder where Morgan is, said Jack. Maybe she went to the library to get some more books, said Amy. We were just at the library. We would have seen her, said Jack. Besides, the library closed now. Squeak! A little mouse ran out from behind a stack of books and ran to the M shining on the floor. Yikes! Said Amy. The mouse sat on the middle of the M. It looked up at Jack and Amy. Oh, it's so cute, Amy said. Jack had to admit the mouse was cute. It had brown and white fur and big dark eyes. Amy slowly reached out her hand. The mouse didn't move. Amy patted its tiny head. Hi, Peanut, she said. Can I call you Peanut? Oh, brother, said Jack. Do you know where Morgan is? Amy asked the mouse. Squeak! You're nuts, Amy, said Jack. Just because the mouse is in the treehouse, that doesn't mean it's magic. It's a plain old mouse that crawled in. That's all. Jack looked around again. He saw a piece of paper on the floor. What's that? He asked. What's what? Asked Amy. Jack went over to pick up the paper. There was writing on it. Oh, man, whispered Jack after he read the words. What is it? Said Amy. A note, Jack. It must be from Morgan. I think she's in big trouble. Chapter 2, The Open Book. Jack showed Amy the piece of paper. It said, Oh no, said Amy. We have to help her. But what's a then? Maybe she was trying to write things, said Jack. See how the N sort of runs off the page? Maybe the spell was starting to make her disappear or something, said Amy. Right, said Jack. I wonder if she left any other clues. She glanced around the treehouse. Look! And he pointed at the bug in the corner. That's the only open book, she said. Jack looked around again. Amy was right. He felt a shiver go down his spine. Jack went over to the book and picked it up. He held it near the window. Light from the setting sun was golden on the page. Jack stared at the picture on it. In the picture were trees and white flowers. The trees were on the side of a mountain near a wide rushing stream. Two people were also in the picture. They wore dark clothes. They had black scarves over their face and long swords strapped to their backs. Oh man, whispered Jack. So what do you think that this says? Who are they? Amy asked. Ninjas, I think, said Jack. Ninjas? Really? Said Amy. Morgan must have left the book open to this page for a reason, said Jack. Maybe that's where she was when the spell got her, Amy said. And maybe that's where the 4 things are, said Jack. Let's go, said Amy. Now? Said Jack. Yes, Morgan's in trouble. She needs us now, said Amy. But we should read this book first, said Jack, so we'll be prepared. Forget it, said Amy. Every minute counts. She grabbed the book from Jack. Give it back, he said. We have to find out about this place. Amy held the book up to reach. We'll find out when we get there, he said. We don't even know where there is, Jack said, but Amy pointed at the picture. I wish we would go here, she said. The leaves of the oak tree began to shake. Squeak! Don't be scared, Peanuts, said Amy. She scooped up the mouse, then she put it in the pouch of his sweatshirt. The wind began to blow. It blew harder and harder. The treehouse started to spin. Faster and faster! Jack squeezed his eyes shut. Then everything was still, absolutely still, except for the sound of rushing water. Chapter 3. Jack opened his eyes. Amy was already looking out the window. The mouse peeked out of her porch. Jack looked at the window too. The air was fresh and cool. The treehouse was in a tree with white flowers. The tree was in a roof of trees inside a mountain. Near the wild stream rushed downhill. 2 ninjas were standing on rocks near the water. They were staring at the valley below. One ninja was tall, the other was short. They wore black pants and shirts. They had black scarves around their heads and swords strapped to their backs. It was exactly like the picture in the book. Jack crouched below the window. Be careful, he whispered. Don't let them see you. Why not? Amy whispered back. They might think we're some kind of enemy, Jack said quietly. Amy crouched beside him. Jack pushed his glasses into place. Now he was going to look at the ninja book. He picked up the book. He turned to the beginning. He read, Very little is known about the shadowy warriors called ninjas. You shouldn't believe that ninjas lived in Japan between the 14th and 17th centuries. Both men and women were ninjas. Sometimes they fought to protect their families. Sometimes warlords hired them to be spies. Wow, whispered Jack. We're in Japan hundreds of years ago. Jack opened his backpack. He pulled out his notebook and pencil. He liked to take notes. He wrote, Ninjas were warriors in old Japan. Jack, whispered Amy. They were looking up. I think they know we're here. Jack peeked over the windowsill. His eyes met the dark of the tall ninja. Hee hee, the ninja cried. He dashed toward the tree. The other ninja followed. Oh no, said Amy. We've got to go, Jack said. Where's the Pennsylvania book? He and Amy looked around widely. But where was the Pennsylvania? It had a picture of the Frog Creek woods in it. Jack and Amy couldn't get home without it. It's not anywhere, cried Amy. We've got to do something fast, said Jack. Pull up the ladder. He and Amy grabbed the top of the rope ladder. They pulled the ladder into the tree house, but the tall ninja leaped that tree trunk. Then he started climbing up the tree. The short ninjas followed. They climbed just like cats. Jack and Amy huddled in the corner. The ninjas climbed into the treehouse. Neither one made a sound. Captured. The ninja iron bends off their hands. The bends had spikes like claws on them. That's how they climbed the tree, Amy whispered to Jack. The ninja stared at Jack and Amy with dark, piercing eyes. The rest of their faces were covered by scars. Jack felt frozen under their stares. Amy wasn't frozen, though. She stepped right up to him. Hi, she said. The ninjas didn't say hi back. They didn't move at all. They were as still as Jack. We're trying to keep our friend Morgan, said Amy. She held up Morgan's note. The tall ninja took the note from her. He looked at it. Then he gave it to the short ninja. The two ninjas stared at each other. Then they looked back at Jack and Amy. Finally, short ninja nodded at once. They put the note into the pocket of his shirt. Can you help us? Amy asked. Neither ninja spoke. Jack wished he could see their faces. He couldn't tell what they were thinking. The short ninja tossed the rope ladder back out of the treehouse. The tall one pointed down the ladder. And he pointed at Jack and Amy. Uh-oh, thought Jack. They were being captured. Us? Go with you, said Amy. The ninja nodded. Oh boy, said Amy. Oh boy, is she nuts? Wondered Jack. The short ninja dared down the ladder. He went over his head. His feet didn't touch the rungs of the ladder. The tall one did the same. Jack gasped. The ninjas moved very fast. They were like spiders dropping from webs. Well, said Amy, now it's our chance to leave, said Jack. Quick, he looked around the treehouse again. Where was that Pennsylvania book? Let's go with them, Jack, said Amy. No, this isn't a game, Jack said. But I think they know something about Morgan, said Amy. She started down the ladder. Come back, said Jack, but it was too late. Jack sighed. Why does this always happen? He asked himself. Come on, Jack, came Amy's voice from below. Jack put his notebook and the ninja book into his pack. He pushed his glasses into place and he started down the ladder. Jack joined Amy and the ninjas on the ground. The sun had fallen behind the hills. The sky was checkered with red and gold. The mouse peeked out from Annie's sweatshirt pouch. Don't be scared, Peanut, Amy whispered. We'll take good care of you. Great thought, Jack. But who is going to take care of us? The short ninja held Jack's arm in one hand and Amy's arm in the other. He led them through the twilight. The tall ninja walked behind them. Where are we going? Jack asked. The ninja stopped near the rushing water of the wide stream. The water roared as they raced down the downhill. The short ninja looked at Jack and Amy. He let go of their arms, then he pushed them toward the stream. You want us to cross it? Shouted Nanny. Ninja nodded. Then he and the short ninja stepped into the wild stream. They started wading across. Let's run back to the treehouse, said Jack. No, we have to follow them, said Amy, for Morgan's sake. Jack took a deep breath. She was right. Amy grabbed Jack's hand. Together they stepped into the water. Yikes! They both screamed and jumped out. Oh, a was the coldest water Jack had ever felt. It was colder than ice, so it was cold it felt like fire. I can't go back in it, said Amy, shivering. Me neither, said Jack. I'll have a heart attack. The ninjas looked at Jack and Amy. Then they had turned around and came back. The tall ninja grabbed Jack. Help, Jack cried, but the ninja lifted Jack high into the air, put him on his shoulder. The short ninja put him on his shoulder. Then two ninjas stepped into the stream again. The icy wild water swirled around them and went up to the short ninja's waist. But the ninjas moved through the stream as calmly as two sailing ships. Chapter 5. Flamed in the mist. The water grew shallow again. Then they were on dry land. The ninjas lowered Jack and Amy to the ground. Thanks, said Amy. Thanks, said Jack. Squeak, said the mouse. But the ninjas said nothing. But they looked around. Jack looked around too. A full moon was rising in the sky. Dark rocks dotted the side of a mountain. The ninjas started moving. They went sailing up the slope between the rocks. Jack and Amy followed them. Jack wasn't afraid of ninjas now. In fact, he was starting to like them. Maybe they really could help find Morgan. The ninjas moved silently, but Jack and Amy made plenty of noise. They panted as they climbed the rocky hillside. Their wet sneakers made squishy sounds. Suddenly, the ninjas froze. Jack could see their eyes darting round. Voices were coming from the valley below. Jack saw torches flaming in the mist. The ninjas started moving faster. Jack and Amy hurried after them. Who's carrying the torches? Amy asked. Jack was too out of breath to speak. He also didn't have an answer. They came to a fine forest. Night birds called out. Wind rattled the branches. The ninjas moved like ghosts through the forest. They appeared and disappeared through moonlight and shadows. Jack and Amy struggled to keep up. One of the ninjas came to a stop. One ninja held out his hand as if to say, wait. Then both ninjas stepped away into the shadows of the tree and were gone. Where did they go? Said Amy. I don't know, said Jack. Maybe the book can tell us. He pulled the ninja book out of path. He turned to a page until he came. Picture of a cave. By the light of the full moon, he read. Sometimes ninjas held meetings to hidden mountain caves to plan secret missions. Oh man, said Jack. I bet they went inside a hidden cave. They pulled out his notebook and pencil. He wrote meetings and hidden caves. Jack turned the page. He stared at the picture of the ninjas sitting on a mat. He read, ninjas took orders from a ninja master. The master was a mysterious, wise person who knew many secrets of nature. Wow, whispered Jack. Just then the two ninjas returned. Jack quickly put his books away. The short ninja motioned for Jack and Amy to follow. In the shadows was the entrance of a dark cave. What's in there? Amy whispered. The ninja master, Jack whispered back. Chapter 6, Shadow Wearer. We're going to stop on chapter 5 and make sure to give it a thumbs